Hey traders, how on a day? It's me Bright, your celebrity trader, your market muscles, your one and only DFX Lord. It's a new week and welcome to another weekly trading forecast. You guys know each week I share my trading ideas and setups with you to help you stay in the right side of the market for the week. Now, if you are new to this channel, guys, please like and subscribe so you can get notifications each time I release a video on this channel, and of course help this video reach a wider audience. I know say una body they do like this. Now you can't wait to see what I have in stock for you for the week, right? Let's go. Alright guys, before we proceed, I want you to understand that I use a combination of price action, wave analysis, market structure, and of course commitment of traders to come to a decision of what my trade bias is going to be. Now, last week, okay, before I go ahead, I want you guys to understand that the wave analysis and market structure rules. All right, so if there is an agreement between the wave analysis and the commitment of traders, then no doubt the market is going to move in that direction. But when there is no agreement, first and foremost, the market will kind of respond to what the commitment of traders says, and eventually this market structure will now take lead. So if you remember last week, I told you guys that for the DXY, which is what we're going to start with, that the DXY is going to fall, right? So this is the week starting 4th right here. You see the market fell down here, but that wasn't the level of fall I was expecting to use. I was expecting it to be bigger than this. So what it did is, on reaching here, it gave us this structure up here. Let's switch to the 4-hour time frame. Okay, so after this minor fall here, it now gave us this structure up here. Now this is quite impulsive, and then we get this correction down here like this. So we have these corrections here. Okay, we have this correction. So what I'll be expecting for DXY this coming week is, of course, it needs to give us at least one more impulse upwards. All right, it needs to give us one more impulse upwards, which could actually most likely break these stuffs right here, these zones right here. You know, this impulse that we're going to be expecting could likely break it, and once it does, that means it is primed for the fall that is quite long overdue. So I will be looking to get this upward movement before getting a sell setup for another big fall. So that's it for DXY. That's what our expectations are. So using your own trading style, if you see a buy trade on DXY, you have to take it, because after this impulsive move, we need to get another impulse upward here, which could actually break these zones that we have here, these zones that I marked out before falling. Now let's check what the commitment of traders say to see whether it supports this US dollar index or it doesn't. If you come to this my Excel spreadsheet right here, you see the DXY has been updated, which the US dollar index has been updated for this coming week. And as you can see here, it's telling us to buy, which is in conformity with what we've just said, that the market is most likely going to go up. All right, so if we were to break it down, you will see last week we had a position open here of about 45,000, and we have the long position this week to be 44,000, right? 44,715 thereabouts. Then you see for the short position here, you have a position of 18,000 plus, and this week it is now 12,000. So what we discover here is that more shorts were closed than longs, even though both positions were closed. But you see there are more shorts being closed here than long positions. In other words, it favors going long. So that's what we'll be expecting for the market on DXY. So let's move quickly to Euro USD. Now, Euro USD, if you guys also check the analysis I made last week, I said Euro USD was primed for an upward movement. But before we get that upward movement, we could likely get a correction down. We'll likely get another move down before that move up. And I was expecting that move down actually, because last week, before that week, we had this impulse here. You see this impulse right here. Okay, we got this impulse here, and as you can see, before that impulse there was a previous one up here, right? Now if you check the MACD, there was no divergence. Usually when the market gets to exhaustion, you see some form of divergence, all right? And that divergence tells you that, okay, the sellers or the buyers, as the case might be, have exhausted their strength, and now the market's about to reverse. But we didn't see that divergence last week, so I was expecting one more move down, which it gave me right here. All right, so most likely now you can see here, if you were to take the move here, which this impulsive move here, and check the peak that corresponds to it on the MACD, that's the peak right here, you see. And then if you were also to take the measurement of this next impulse here and look at the peak right here, so you see a clear divergence on the MACD on the Euro USD. So I can tell you that this particular market must have exhausted its downward movement and is most likely going to pick up. So I'll be expecting a big move on the Euro USD. But let's take a brief look at these moves that were made here. Let's take a deeper look right here. Check it out, guys. If I were to zoom this thing up, you have an impulse, right? And in this impulsive move, this right here is a correction to that impulse. Do you see this? Do you see this? So most likely, before we get this move on the lower time frame, this is corrective. You might get another impulse that might just come at this zone right here. It may not exceed it, or it may just exceed it by a snippet, you know, before it is primed to move up. And as you can see, this trend line that I've put here is what's gonna guide me to take this trade on Euro USD. All right, so if this trend line, if you go to your own 4-hour time frame and you see this trend line, you know, perfectly broken and retested on, like if you get something like this and the market comes down to it to retest somewhat like this, then that means we are going to be taking that buy trade on Euro USD. That means it is ripe for plucking. So this is what I'll be expecting for Euro USD. Euro USD is primed for a very big up move, but before we get that up move, it most likely going to come down a little bit to, you know, complete this the impulse for this corrective move right here. So let's see what the commitment of traders tells us about the euro itself. If we come to this, let's check the euro. Okay, you know, I have programmed this Excel spreadsheet to just give me what the sentiment is, instead of, you know, starting afresh to break down the numbers or start the number crunching again. I've done the hard work, and what it does, it precipitates what the final position should be, or what I should be expecting in that market. So right here, the euro is saying a sell. All right, the euro is saying that I should sell it. Now, what is that telling me here? No, if we are selling euro, that means euro is weak against the US dollar, right? And that means the US dollar is going to gain some strength against the euro, and that kind of conforms to what we said about this move, you know, coming down a little bit here before it then moves up. Does that make sense? All right, I hope it does. So nonetheless, once this trend line, let me change the color. Once this red trend line, that's the downtrend line, is broken and retested on, the Euro USD is definitely going to go up. So our bias is a buy sell. I'm just going to allow this to play what it likes. I'm just going to stay away from this sell trade and wait for the big move, because I love, you know, catching them big. Now let's go to the GBPUSD. GBPUSD, you see the analysis we made for the last week. We said GBPUSD is going to, you know, move up, and as you see here, we got that move up. It didn't move really that big. It was quite small, you know, smaller than expected. But let's see what it has for us this week. Before I proceed on the GBPUSD, let's see what the commitment of trader tells us. Now, the commitment of trader, we see, let's switch to GBPUSD, or rather to the pound sterling right here. So the pound sterling is telling us a strong sell. We're having a strong sell on the pound sterling. So let's check what the commitment of traders, rather what the market structure tells us. Remember, I said that the market structure and the wave, supersedes what the commitment of trader tells us. Despite how convinced the commitment of traders might be in its decision, we still have to respect market structure and trade in the direction of the trend, right? So let's come into the chart here. What do we see, guys? Let's clean it up a little bit. So, okay, let's put up our trend line right there. Let's put this up right here. We'll have this move. This move has, has taken up like this. Okay. Now, do you see what we're seeing here? Check this out. Check out this zone. All right. So this is going to be the decision zone for me. The structure tells me here that I've had an impulse, another impulse, all right, and then a correction. Now check this out, guys. Check this out. You see this impulsive move right here, and this zone hasn't been broken. You have one impulse, this, another impulse here. So most likely we are gonna get the British pounds to break this trend line down here, come back to it to retest in order to go down, right? However, this becomes invalidated if it were to break this zone up here. If it were to break this zone up here, believe you me, the next target is going to be just about there, just about here, right? Yeah, that's it. So this is going to be a very precarious one, so we're going to be careful. We have to see either one of these conditions met before we jump into the trade on GBPUSD come tomorrow. So I'm going to move straight to AUDUSD. US dollar. Okay, now my bias, I said AUD US dollar is gonna go down. It gave us a little bit move down here last week and then pulled up. I'm still biased to the downside on AUD USD. All right, I'm still biased to the downside. So we've got this move up here, and I want you guys to note something. Never jump into a trade. All right, even though that I'm expecting AUD US dollar to, give me a downward movement here, I'm not going to take this trade until I see a clear signal from it, until I see a clear setup, right? So the setup I'll be looking for is right here. We've got an impulsive move, a correction, another impulse. For me to get into this sell trade, this has to come down here to break, then retest, of course, to this level before I take this sell. All right, so that's what I'll be expecting for the Aussie. Okay, so let's move to the US dollar JPY. Now the US dollar JPY is we said that it was going to go down last week. Unfortunately it didn't. All right, so I'm going to own it. This really moved unexpectedly down, upwards instead of down, but this now makes the structure even much more clear, because as you see here, we see this impulse right here. See this mighty impulsive move all the way from here to here. We got that impulse, right? Let me redraw it, and then we got a correction down here, and of course another impulse. We gave us a higher high right here, a clear structure. Now we got a higher high on the market. Now check our MACD here. Do you see we have a lower high, a higher high on the chart, on the candlesticks, and a lower high on the momentum indicator? This shows us a clear divergence. It shows us that the market is quite exhausted here. So for USDJPY, I'll be looking for a clear sell setup. All right, because I believe market is going to drop. What does the JPY tell us from the commitment of traders? Let's check that out. JPY says strong buy. Do you see that here, guys? And what does that mean? If JPY says strong buy, that means it's not good for US dollar. That means JPY is going to gain strength against the US dollar, which of course the direction is downwards. So this is what I'm going to be expecting, and at least the move has to get to this zone here, and if this zone is broken, it's going to move down to this level. All right, so this could likely be my trade of the week, because this is a clear setup. So all I'll be waiting for is the setup for my sell, bang, and I'm into this trade. Okay, so let's take a look at NZD USD now. All right, so last week, as you guys saw clearly, we said market was going to move down from here, and market gave us that move down there. If you check it on the 1 hour, you see we really got a magnificent down trade here. I believe most of you made profit from this trade. If you see it, if you watched my video last week, I see that I was correct in this. Please do like, share, and subscribe to the channel, please, to help YouTube algorithm get to a wider audience. Please do that for me, guys. And what are we expecting for this week for NZD USD? So first and foremost, let's check our commitment of traders. What's the commitment of traders saying for the NZD? It's telling us strong sell for NZD. All right, that means we are selling NZD. Let's check what the chart says. Strong sell, as the commitment of traders imply, means that the market ought to do what? Go down. That means the NZD is gonna lose strength against the US dollar. So it's telling us that the market is going to do what? Go down. But what does the market structure tell us? Are they in harmony? Let's find out. Okay. Yes, they are absolutely in harmony. All right, so you see this trend right there. This trend right here is still sell biased. All right, so we have this impulse. Check this out, guys. Check this out. You should be able to learn how to differentiate between an impulsive move and a corrective move. Now, do you get this impulse right here? You see how swift this move was down here? That's impulsive. But you see how slow this move was going all the way up here? That's corrective. So we have an impulse, we have a correction, we need at least one more impulse down to complete this wave cycle. All right, so I am biased, just like the COT trader tells me. I am sell biased on the NZD USD. So for the NZD USD, I'll be looking for a sell setup here to take. Once I get a sell setup, I'm taking it without any hesitation. All right, so I'm going to move straight to the USD card. Let's check out the USD card. Now, this was an amazing trade for me this week, one of my trades of the week. If you remember vividly, I said last week that we're expecting USD to do what? To fall. And exactly, I said that the correction we're going to get a correction that may touch the trend line before it falls. However, this correction did not get up to this extreme, to this point of the trend line, this downtrend. So it just gave us a swift fall. And if you check out the zone, the exact zone at which I said it's going to get down to, that's where it get down to. And it even broke this particular zone right here. So it was a good trade for me. I hope you guys were able to capture it. Please, if you enjoy this, if you find value in this, like and subscribe to this channel, guys, please. Now, what's next for USD card? So I see a corrective move here. So we have this impulsive move here. So what I'm expecting for USD card is a corrective move upward, and then possibly one more fall down before we start looking for maybe a buy trade. All right, so for next week, we'll be expecting a corrective move upwards to correct for this impulse. So once we get that, the market might then fall for another move up. So that's it for USD card. And how about gold? What do we have on gold? Guys, you remember I said gold was going to go up, right? Now, after this correction, you see this correction which we said it was going to get, gold actually gave us that upward move right here, but not as strong as expected. So last week, most trades were in corrective mode instead of impulsive. So you see here, this was when the prediction was made. We had that corrective move down here. Please don't mind the red gold line here. So we got this move here, and then of course this upward move, right? So long term, gold is going to go up, but for the short term, check out this structure here. We got this impulse. This was impulsive. So after this upward, this is quite a complex correction that you see here, guys. So I'm expecting gold, to correct a little bit, upwards, then a fall, then before we now get a move up. So this is what I'm looking out for in gold. So I'm expecting gold to correct a little bit upwards, all right, before a fall. Let's see if I've updated my gold. Okay, I haven't done that. Let's check it out. Let's Let's do that. Okay. Let's go to commitment of traders and update gold. So I want to update my gold data and see what the commitment of traders says about gold. Let's do that real quick. Okay, guys, if you want to get your data for commitment of traders, is it's online everywhere, but tradingstar.com simplifies it for us in such a way that you can just get your data directly. It's easier to read from there, so you can get the data there and make your own Excel spreadsheet if you want. So I have the data now. Let me just update it here. All right. Okay, there we go. So as you guys have seen, okay, this is exciting. Just watch how I'm auto filling these cells in this Excel spreadsheet. I've already got what I wanted. Do you see that right there, guys? Do you see the signal, rather the sentiment for gold this week? Right now, you see gold says strong buy right here. Do you see that? Now, which also conforms to what I've told you about gold. I'm expecting gold to move correctly upward and possibly a fall before they move, up. So this build up, don't be surprised that this build up in its entirety is the correction that gold needs. Do you understand? Before it moves up. So this correction that we're expecting could also be an impulse, but I know that, no doubt, I am buy biased when it comes to gold. Now let's quickly go to BTC. Now guys, do you remember last week? This is BTC, guys. Do you remember last week I told you that BTC was gonna go up after this correction? Exactly what we got here. Do you see that, guys? Isn't that amazing? I believe and I hope most of you entered this trade and made a huge profit from this trade. Now, what's next for BTC is already happening. The crypto market never sleeps. I'm expecting the market to correct, all right, from this impulse, and of course move up again. So the levels I'm expecting BTC to hit now is between $60,000 to $63,000. Now, the same thing I did for you guys on Ethereum. Let's move quickly to Ethereum. All right. Now, if you check out Ethereum, I also told you guys that Ethereum was going to move up, and it did, I believe, and I hope you guys took that trade. So these guys are in conformity. Okay, for Ethereum, I'm also expecting a correction. I think it has also done the correction here. It has already had this correction right here. So I believe that Ethereum, let's check this out, guys. Let's check this out. We have this. Okay, then we have this. Okay, so I think Ethereum is not done yet, going down. I believe Ethereum is still gonna go down a little bit. So we're gonna see this in Ethereum, a little bit upward movement and then a little bit down before any bigger move to the upside. So this is my expectations for the week. That's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please do like and subscribe to this channel to be getting more of this, and also other videos and trading tips on how you can position yourself to becoming a profitable trader. So that's it for now, guys. Bye for now, and see you in my next video.